How did I pay my bills and support my family when I used to run a non-profit mechanic company and my full-time job was fixing cars for broke people for free? The answer to that is a bunch of crazy God stories. One month, my wife and I had less than half of our rent. We had no money coming in. We prayed about it. God told us to write a check. When I told God we couldn't cover the check, he said, don't worry about it. I can cover it. I took the check to my landlord's house, and as I was leaving, I got a phone call from a guy who worked on a ranch that told me his boss had 2 vehicles that were broke down that they wanted me to fix, and they were going to pay me and refused to let me not take money. I never charged anybody for any of the work that I did, but every once in a while, somebody like this would come along and refuse to not let me take money. From that one job, I was able to pay all my bills for that month, stock our fridge and pantry full of groceries, cover the rent, and the crazy thing was, the landlord deposited the check late, so it didn't even go through the bank until after I got paid from doing that job. Normally, I wouldn't tell people to write a check you can't cover, but when God tells you to do something, you really should obey. I did mobile auto repair because I didn't have a shop to work out of, and it was kind of neat because whenever I'd go to work on someone's car, they usually hung out while I was working, and I got to talk to them about Jesus while I was fixing their car. My work vehicle used to be a ghetto-busted 1990 Mazda 626 that was falling apart. One time I was replacing a transmission for a single mom who couldn't afford to buy her transmission, so there was a couple that bought the transmission for her. When they found out what I did for a living and what I was driving out of, they bought me a pickup truck to work out of. Eventually, my wife got a job as a property manager at an apartment complex, and she was required to live on site. In addition to her regular pay, they gave us a free apartment, plus our water and electricity was covered. My wife didn't have the qualifications or experience that the people that hired her were looking for, but God gave us favor and put us into a situation where all of our financial needs were met. In Matthew 6, Jesus talked about how if we put God's kingdom first, God will meet all of our needs. This is the kind of stuff I've been seeing happen in my life on a regular basis ever since I started living by faith and following Jesus in 2008. But God didn't just meet our needs. He went way above and beyond. One time I fixed a car for a guy, and him and his wife gave me and my family free tickets to Schlitterbahn. One time, a guy who worked at a radio station wanted to do something nice for me, so he gave me tickets and backstage passes to a Casting Crowns concert. In the middle of the show, I got to talk to Mark Hall live in front of everybody. It was so cool. At one point, I was working like 80 hours a week and just getting burnt out, and then I had a company from another state that paid me to go on vacation for a week. God gave me some rest I desperately needed and told me to slow down a bit. One year, we didn't have money to buy presents for our kids for Christmas, and 2 people who didn't know my situation gave us money to buy presents. If you want to know more about my story or how to get to a place in your life where living by faith and following Jesus is as natural as breathing, check out this book I wrote, available on Amazon, or get a free PDF download at crazygodstory.com. You can find it through the link tree in my bio.